3, now. Okay, go. Change it over.
Ooh, that's hot. jQuery, aren't you a bit old for this? What's going on here? Oh wait. Apologies. It's getting a bit hot in here, so checking out my pipes and my stacks around, if you know what I mean. Anyway, welcome to another week of news in Meteor and Meteor or ECMAScript, Node.js, all that stuff. This is episode 44, if my documents are correct, of Meteor Dispatches. I'm Jan Dvorak, streaming to you live from Prague with my two awesome co-hosts.
Hey, I'm Alim Gafar, coming to you live from New York City.
Hey, and I'm Küster from Germany. Hello.
Hello. Well, let's get straight into it while I'm still a bit flustered, as you got me in the act, looking on stacks. But let's go on our first news. Not so hot things that has been a little bit unfortunate, and that is security. It came out recently that Polyfill.io has been compromised. Those who don't know, Polyfill.io has been a very good CDN service that I also used. And apparently it was sold to some shady Chinese company. And what security researchers have found out is that it started inserting malware into their CDN. The thing with Polyfill.io was that, for example, you send them, I wanted to polyfill me for INTL features. And then it would check, okay, what is the browser? Does it actually need polyfilling? If yes, it would add the polyfill. If no, then it would not add anything. So that was a very nice feature. Now it has been discovered that if you are on you're on specific phones, it will insert malware as well among all the other things. Sadly, from this article from Sansec, this is not the first thing that apparently the people behind this attack have been doing, and there are other services that they have compromised as well. So we can read up into the article. There has been some discussions on issues that have been deleted about this happening. And one thing that I've learned about this, as I was digging into this, that we actually no longer need CDNs. And that is primarily because the mechanism why they were so great in the past, the shared CDNs for things like jQuery, polyfills, was that if the user went to a website or he got the jQuery library and then went to another website, they already had it on their computer, so there was no need to download it. So the website loaded up faster. That ended. I would say potentially a few years back, where the browsers kind of disabled this shared cache, you could say. Let me see where I put so it no longer works like that way today. If somebody goes to a website, it just does everything for that, and then if it goes to another website, it does the same thing again, and there's no sharing. This is to prevent cross-site attacks and all these things. And it's this is sadly just one in many recent attacks on open source. And I think this is going to be something that we'll be seeing a lot more as things come up in the news. And it's not the only one, and more are potentially on their way. So be now very careful because all these inherent issues are coming up, and if something big like this is going to come up, and we'll be sure to let you know. So first order of business, if you ever used or use polyfill.io on your website or something similar, get rid of it. The good news is that thankfully today with modern browsers, you no longer need it.
And I didn't need it beforehand as well.
Yeah,
because
well, for me,
a lot of it.
Yeah, for me specifically, it was the INTL API for browsers. So for some of the, once I first implemented for some of the older browsers, or including back then Internet Explorer, it was necessary to have that polyfill. Not any longer.
I'm speechless.
It's crazy, right? I mean, also this social engineering thing, I'm wondering if this occurs right now because there are even more and more newcomers and new people joining this whole software engineering community, with even more and more beginners coming to the JavaScript ecosystem every day, and it's more and more easy to get easy targets. I don't know if that's the case. It just seems to work.
Let's see. I think I recently saw an article, and I have it hopefully saved somewhere, where actually the number of software engineers is declining. But that is something that we'll be covering on Monday on my hot topic with Alim, which is titled "Bring Yourself Fully to Work." So this will be one of the articles we'll be kind of covering there as well. So make sure to tune in. So Jan, what else is happening?
I prefer the title "Don't Expose Yourself," but that's
Oh, well, let's just.
Okay, let's get from the security and disastrous stuff to the party and the great stuff. So when I peeked into the forums recently, there was a post about the RC4 by Leonardo Venturini, and he revealed some information that the Meteor 3.0 is coming in July, and then of course there has to be an article for that. So yeah, when you look into the forums there, then there is somewhere there is the information that the full release will come out in July now. So everyone get prepared. Now it's getting into the hot phase, and I mean not only in the summer out there, but really on the Meteor platform. And I'm really well prepared already, and I hope we made you all prepared as well with all our streams, all our information, everything that's out there. And the article I'm linked that is linked is summarizing many things also for people who haven't been on the platform for some years. So if you know someone who knows Meteor from back then, this article summarizes everything in a very compact form as an entry point. You can use it, send it to them, let them know, hey, this is going to happen, be prepared, and check it out again.
So as far as this is concerned, everything seems to be on schedule at this point.
Yes.
That's pretty cool. Have there been any significant feedback that from the community about fixes or issues that might affect the rollout?
As far as I know, there isn't anything big right now stopping it. There's a lot of fixes coming in. We'll be also getting the newest Note 20 because there has been a release since release kind of 4 has been released of Note, and there is one more security release that is expected to drop in July 2nd.
Okay,
correctly here.
That's awesome. Yeah, I don't have anything else to add here. Küster, no? All right, then.
Sorry, I was just answering a question here in the chat right now, so I was not
Okay.
that focused. Sorry for that.
Oh, we have some new people in the chat today, by the way. Let's just call them out. So we've got some returning folks with us. Camilla from the Meteor team is here. Gabs Ferreira is here. Gabs is, as you guys know, the new developer advocate that replaced the other Gabrielle. Apparently, if you're going to be a developer advocate these days at Meteor Software, you have to have the name Gabrielle. It's just the rule. That's just the way it's going to be. We have Joni Saxholm, who is here for the first time, as far as I know. Hi. Charles New has been here before. I think last week he was here, or the week before, and he's back. So hello, Charles. It's great to see you here also. And who else do we have? Astor Silva. I don't know if I've run into Astor before. Have you guys seen Astor here before?
Not that I remember.
All right. Well, hey, Astor, it's great having you here with us. And thanks for joining us. And we hope to see you again sometime. Now, enough with all this different hype on things. What about the type? I mean, that's part of the idea behind this episode. I know. Actually, we've been doing the cheekiness on the types, right? It's like, who's your type? Is she your type? Is he your type? In the image that we posted at the very beginning. I don't know if Küster, if you have that still around, that image. That's a great image. Let's pop it back up there for a second so people know what we're talking about. Is how we opened this morning. There we go. There we go. Oh, cheeky, isn't it? But I want to get back to TypeScript. And TypeScript 5.5 was announced on June 20th. There is a blog post by Daniel Rosenwasser from the Microsoft TypeScript blog. And I just want to point out 3 highlights of new features or expansions or new features or improvements that have been made to TypeScript. One is support for ECMAScript's new set methods. And this is actually a new feature in ECMAScript. I don't know very much about it, but TypeScript has included some support for it. We do have some links to both that portion of the blog that talks about it, as well as the Mozilla documentation on the set methods. By the way, I should kind of preface this by saying that some of the things that we're seeing here are incredible expansions and work done by the TypeScript team, but we have some concerns when it comes to using some of these things, and I think Küster will pop in a couple of minutes to share some of those concerns we have about going deeper into these paradigms, these features that move us more and more into a particular orientation of programming. So we've got the new set methods. There is now basic syntax checking on regular expressions. We finally have that, but only on regular expression literals and not string literals. And third, and I guess this makes things a lot safer, is the keyword for the type undefined is no longer a definable type name. You can't alias it. Apparently, you were able to do this before. I did not know that. You're not able to alias any other built-in types in TypeScript. And now the TypeScript team has made it consistent across the board. So you're not able to take undefined and use that as an alias to something else. So those are the 3 things. I think the danger, Küster, you and I were chatting before the program about part of the danger of where this is going is that it focuses more on the object-oriented nature of JavaScript at the exclusion of other things. Can you elaborate a little?
So, I think this is a personal opinion, and I have the impression that the whole development of TypeScript it's moving on very fast, of course, like everything in the JavaScript ecosystem. But I think there are many changes towards more and more classic OOP and distancing more and more from the way classic JavaScript worked. And I think that's in itself, it's okay, but it can be exclusive, especially to newcomers or to people that are rather focusing on something easy, on something like I'd like to work with JavaScript and have some kind of type checking in. But I don't want to use this whole generics, abstract classes, interfaces, types, type definitions, or whatever there is, unions and intersections and so on. These concepts, they have their value and they have their place, and they're really good if you know how to use them. But it can become really, really annoying if you see a project and it's like, I don't know, 10 files, but it's like bloated all over the place. I just think it needs to be done with care. You need to know what to do, and it might become scary for beginners to jump into. And if we talk about decorators, that's the next thing. This is even one more abstraction level where people don't know what happens behind the scenes, because these decorators are abstracting things to even another level. But again, that's just my personal view on that. And maybe in the next episodes, we will get a little bit deeper into some examples on that.
Yeah, I think we were talking about this in the context of the impact on development on the community packages, and I think that is a good offline topic to bring up, and maybe it's a hot topic to talk about. And Storyteller, do you want to weigh in on this before?
I am with Jan. For me, the TypeScript, especially I like how it's integrated right now in Meteor. If you use the official package, it's there as a help, especially with the Zorantize package as well for packages and everything else. But it's not, the dictator as it can be. I think if you use it normally, and if you have like even the smallest type issue, it will not compile and all that stuff. So I prefer it to be there as a help, not as I said, not as a dictator.
Okay. And I'm a little distracted right now because I am typing some stuff to the folks that are in the chat. But Küster, can you tell people what they should do if they're enjoying this right now?
So definitely, if you're enjoying this, then let us know, please, and hit the like button, because with that, we definitely know in the past which episode is the most favorable one, so we can align our content with the community and plan future episodes. And we know that there are some favorites out there already content-wise, which is why our future episode planning will take this all into consideration.
All right. Off to Meteor news. Already mentioned this, but on July 2nd, so this upcoming Tuesday, there is going to be a security release for Node.js. This is for series 18 to 22. One high severity issue, and then 5 lower ones, or 2 medium, 3 low ones. And this means you are going to get this Node version in the final release of Meteor 3. Natural has already, or even before this, he has a pull request with a branch where the Node.js is up to the latest version. And he has been doing an amazing job on keeping things up to date there. Let's see. Another thing is we have also, and I forgot to pull it up just very quickly, there's also work going on improving the speed on Windows. Specifically, there is this pull request that's based on the one that has a $500 bounty to improve this performance on Windows. So let's see, Saeed here has been working on that and has making some quite improvements. And if you want to follow what's going on there, if you are on Windows, check out the issue, which describes the what's going on here. If I scroll down here, you can see what's going on, what is the differences, and I'd explain this. Pretty much one of the issue is that, if you have Windows Defender running, then that's going to slow everything down, because Windows Defender gets into all the files, when sometimes can see like from 19 seconds to 108 seconds. So even before this gets in, check this issue out, and there are at least some initial helping tips that you can look on. So from community notes or community us, we'll be starting help desk. So similar to what we'll have a bit later in the program here, will be I and whoever else joins me as a guest will be looking at issues that are either on the forums, on Slack, or wherever we come here across Stack Overflow, and will be giving us, will be explaining or asking more questions, going through the process of hopefully trying to find a fix. It will be strictly 1 hour, because we could potentially, spend an entire day on it. So that will be how things are, how things will be kind of scheduled.
So the distinction between that program and what we do today here in the news is we just highlight items that we feel need some attention because it doesn't seem that people are looking at it. But you are going to be going deep. So we're very shallow here on the news, but you are going very deep on a handful or maybe 1 or 2 topics.
Yes, exactly. And if you are like new to open source, or if you have some issues, it will also be a good resource for you to kind of see, because sometimes we'll just be, okay, we need more information about this, and this is how you can give us more information. So we'll be also kind of going through all the necessary steps to get to where we need to be. Speaking of helping, I just want to highlight that you can hire me as a consultant. And the news here that I put out this week is that once Meteor 3 comes out, I will be raising my Meteor 3 migration prices. So get it while it's still relatively cheap, because the price is only going to go up, and it will go up with every new just say release of Meteor 3 until they will become on parity with my regular consultancy and will go away.
Okay,
so
I'm gonna just share something here really quickly, and I know that often when I do this, it doesn't go into, it just goes right on the screen. Jan Küster has created a link tree page for us, which links to a number of our different resources in the community and across from Meteor also. I just want to bring this up because it's one of those things that was a recent addition that that was done, and the address is linktr.ee/Meteor community, MeteorJS community. I'll get that in a banner, and actually, you know what? It'll be in the newsletter. So look for the newsletter next week on Monday, and you should be able to get it then. Okay. All right, and we can. I'm sorry I hijacked you.
No worries. So if you like, what we are doing, if you're interested in learning more besides, getting me to consult with you or talk with you about Meteor, you can also help us out by hitting the subscribe button, and it also helps you to keep informed about what's going on. So hit the subscribe button so that you can be informed of all the upcoming shows that we are doing.
By the way, as far as subscribe is concerned, I told you that we have a goal of by July 4th getting to 250 subscribers. Last week we were in the mid 200s, 200 and zeros. I don't know how to like properly say that, but right now I think we're up to 224 subscribers. So thanks guys for hitting that subscribe button, joining us, and getting us closer and closer to our goal. So let's try to get to that 250 by the time we get to July 4th, which is I think at the end of next week. So around that time, we'd like to get up there. So do your best to get us there, and we greatly appreciate it.
All right. Over to you, Alim, with your help desk.
Back to me on the help desk.
Yes.
So we have a couple of we have a handful of, I would say they are posts on the forums that really haven't gotten very much love yet, and so we're trying to raise awareness about them so that they can have it. And the first one is from user PWIX. It says client does not run, and what happens is he has been trying to do a migration to 3.0, and he is running into an issue where his code on the server is running, but he's not getting anything happening on the client. He has asked for debugging help, has got none. He's done most. I'm saying they, let's say they, because I don't know what the gender is. They've done most of the debugging themselves. There was a small CSS error, a variable that wasn't defined or something, that seems to be responsible for the whole UI catastrophe, and the user is still continuing to work through it. So if you happen to know something about this, if you're on the Meteor team and have some insight into why this behavior should happen with just one bit of malformed CSS, maybe you can help this fellow out and let them know what it is that they need to know in order to resolve the problem, and whether or not this will happen to anybody who makes the same kind of error with an undefined CSS variable. So to me, it doesn't seem that an entire UI should crap out because of a malformed CSS variable. But I'm not a CSS expert. I'm not a UI expert. And I don't know what the behaviors should be. But I think there should be some kind of graceful handling of this. And this doesn't seem very graceful at all. So, all right. Having said that, let me move on to the next one. So take a look at that. We have it up there. And now we're going to move on to the next one. And it says, why does the Meteor install with blah, 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 blah? Why does the Meteor installer always reference 2.16.3? So user Skyrooms, by the way, this is the first of two entries that Skyrooms has posted, which, sort of left dangling. He says he thinks that the installer is broken, but doesn't really offer much additional info. I think he believes that there's enough info in that. It's trying to do a 3.0 installation. And I think that's what I get out of this, because the next piece that we have is related, and it's related to 3.0. So they're wondering why this is happening. Again, from the team, if you could get back to them and maybe reproduce the issue and help them resolve it, I think that would be great. All right. And with that, I'm going to pass the baton on to my relay friend, Küster.
Yeah. So there's the one kind of forum posts where people ask for help, but there are also sometimes forum posts where people report like their solution to a question they may even haven't asked yet, or other people may ask in the future or something. And for example, there's Skyrooms, who is a single solo dev entrepreneur, and I responded like, hey, by the way, ChatGPT helped me like crazy. I mean, maybe this is also a secret OpenAI worker want to do some secret advertisement in our forums. No, fun aside, this is awesome when people just also reflect, hey, this is my solution, or this helped me a lot, because this will also give guidance to other people, even if it's not a detailed guide or something. Just a response like, hey, ChatGPT worked a lot. It helped me perfectly for re-optimization. And I have a different experience with that. But if this person helped, I mean, maybe if someone of you is interested, go to the forums and comment. Maybe Skyrooms can reveal some more details on that if someone is interested. And this is also the same for another post by Vic Rubensfeld, who asked basically for help in solving an issue on the accounts package in RC4, but then realized on their own that they had basically only changed a few things in the promise await feature that was used before Meteor moved to async await. So this promise await, just a little side note here, this was a workaround in the fibers compatible way Meteor resolved some promises in sync style code. And of course, this is dropped now in the RCs. And Vic found the solution to that on their own and then just posted an answer, hey, I found it, and marked the post as solved. And this is awesome. This is awesome community engagement by one of our users having a question and then solved it on their own and just posted the answer to share it with everybody else who might also trap into that, fall into that trap, and can solve on their own. So thank you, Vic, for that. This is awesome. It's like the perfect self-solved issue topic, right?
I think it's really cool because what it does is it demonstrates to folks that if you don't get help from the community, I think the general tendency is, well, if I don't get any help, but I've solved it on my own, I've opened a forum post, I may not come back to it at all because there has been no communication, nothing's happened. But I think this is really useful because what he's done is he's added to the body of knowledge that we can all benefit from by closing out his own issue. And this is the kind of thing that really makes the forums in the community very, very valuable. Not the stuff that's left open and ignored, even though you may have solved it, nobody else knows, right? And they may run into the issue later on. But the fact is that somebody's closed it out and said, hey, by the way, here's the resolution. And, if anybody else can benefit from it, good for you. So that's great. Great, Vic. Very much appreciated.
All right. Speaking of helping and all that stuff, I want to highlight here in our useful resources, now quite an old post, but I would say at least as the things, underlying methods and code doesn't change as much, still relevant and will be relevant for a while. And that is the Meteor scaling and performance best practices forum post. I recently recommended it again. It's very much a list from various people starting with Alavi, about how to best scale and improve performance. We have also Radoslav here and many other people, asking additional questions and giving up their own suggestion as well and showing, what did they manage to do with certain different solution. A lot of them also a lot of these things are covered on the official Meteor guide, but here there might be some more specific ideas to help you based on what your application is like, including here we have posts from Vlad Lasky. So lot of stuff, a lot of really good points. So check that out if you are scaling Meteor, so that you know what to do going forward to make it even better. Switching off to conferences and meetups, I am happy to announce that I will be speaking at React Wrocław, which will be on Wednesday, July 10th. So if you are in that area of Poland or want to come in, I will be speaking there, and it's I think it's going to be a lot of good fun time. I will be going over React and Meteor and the bumpy road that we had and that we'll probably have going ahead. So definitely don't miss it. Later on, they will also be doing English translation of this site. So, but I think the basic information are available just by the nature of how meetup.com works. And let's see, I think if you have any other information about CFPs and conferences is available in our newsletter.
Yeah.
That's correct. We drop 3 randomly in each week. So if you're interested in that, take a look, and we can move on from there. All right. So Küster, what's your
Yeah.
baby doing?
What? Just a reminder again. So I know sometimes you're just in the zone and don't have anything else to do. And but actually, if you like the episode and if you want to stay up with us for the future and get the recent news, but also our fun memes, images, and whatever we like to share every week, then subscribe to the channel and you get notified immediately when the next stream is coming live. Usually every Friday, but from time to time, we also have some extra content, hot topics, discussions, roundtables, everything we already did. We had a deep dive into package migration, and these are not scheduled on every Friday, but on other days during the week because they're extra program. Sometimes we also upload some videos and video tutorials, and if you want to get notified on them, then subscribe to the channel and then let your notification do the work for you.
Awesome. Speaking about the extra stuff, once again, reminder, we have a hot topic, Bring Yourself Fully to Work on Monday, 1st of July, which is a cross stream between my channel and this channel. Let me just put it quickly here on the spot so you can subscribe either on this channel or on my channel. And watch out, we'll have some crazy AI generated thumbnail coming in. Kind of curious what the AI is going to create once I put in the topic there. And that brings us to our sponsored segment. Before that, if you're looking to host or if you're looking to put up your Meteor application, remember, there's the official hosting Galaxy, which we highly encourage you to use because the profits from that make their way back into development. And Alan, we have something for this, don't we?
Yes. Give me a second here. I am in the middle of doing some back work right now. So what are we talking about again? I apologize.
So we have, and we have kind of changed our.
Are we on the deep dives here?
Not yet. For the Galaxy hosting, Alan, what do we have for?
Oh, well, that's what I'm working on right now. So, all right, just so that you guys know, we switched accounts on StreamYard, and all the banners that we had from the old account are not there. So right now I am creating the banner for the Galaxy credits. We're offering $60 in Galaxy credits as part of the sponsored segment. I'm going to be putting up onto the screen in a couple of minutes a streaming ticker that will show you where you can go to get those credits and what the coupon code is going to be. So bear with me as Jan goes through the sponsored segment.
Yes, so that's, and you can get, I believe it's, if I'm correctly, $60 in credits. So depending on how you run things, that can be up to 2-3 months of running server time, again depending on which container and all that stuff you run. Even if you have an existing account, you can still apply it and get some discounts. So take an advantage on that. And speaking of sponsored segments, let's get into it. If Meteor is your type, your stack, and all the goodies. This is more of a discussion, so looking forward to guys what you're going to have in the comments. And let me open it up here because like with every technology, there are limitations, there are certain benefits that it's good for, certain things that it's not good for. And I think it's really important to have a honest discussion and figure out what are the best uses of any given technology. And I believe that if anybody tells you that you can use certain technology for absolutely everything, that they are lying, or at least very much stretching the truth, because the truth is that you can pretty much do anything with Meteor as well. Should you? No. And so I kind of want to first go over at least how I perceive it, and guys, feel free to jump in here and add in some of your other experiences. What are Meteor strengths? First of all, I would say it's the developer experience, meaning that you can really go in and just start working on your application. You don't have to spend hours, or not last time, but quite a while ago when I was setting up a Node.js project, we spent over a week of just getting up together the basic setup and getting things running and working as we needed them. With Meteor, just Meteor run and you are off to the races to build stuff. Real-time and optimistic, in this case I have to say method, is one of the big Meteor strengths. And real-time in the sense of making it easy to use. So that's all the publication subscription paradigm and optimistic resolution of methods if you have written them as they should have been written. Another big thing is, of course, cross-platform, meaning that the code that you write, for example, with the methods, is both applied on the client and on the server, so you don't have to write it twice. So it's all in one place, which is very nice. I would say one of the biggest benefits or strengths of Meteor is the account system. It's something that I hear repeated over and over again. Being able to just drop in accounts, have them work, and not have to worry about all the password, user management, all out, is a big blessing. And I think given that there are SaaS products out there doing the logging and account system for other websites, shows just how much this is an issue outside of Meteor. So and I was even exacerbated in let's just say on X recently, and I was like asking, are really people having such an issue that they put their accounts and their customers to other SaaS? Apparently, yes. So that's a big thing. And personally, I believe, important things like, accounts, logins, all that stuff, that should be something that you keep very, very close to you, just to consider GDPR. Another big thing for me is the easy deploy with Galaxy. Just one command and it does all the things for you, or you can, just connect it to your GitHub repository and you don't even have to do it manually. Or if you are outside of Galaxy, you can use Meteor app, which is a bit more complicated, but it's still possible. Or you just create the pack and deploy it as you would any other Node application. Sometimes this is next one is Meteor specific packages. Sometimes people say it's a detriment that we're not compatible with them with the rest of the NPM ecosystem. But I think if those are packages that really hook into, say, the account system and other important parts of Meteor ecosystem, that's doesn't really matter. And they are actually really good because you just install them and you get all the functionality out of the box, and you usually don't have to really do much beyond that. And another thing is that you also have then all the other benefits that Node.js has as well. Anything else I'm missing here? Alim, yeah, nothing?
I would
Nothing from
add one thing here. that's more of a meta level thing, but this is always forgotten because it's taken for granted so much, is that with the DDP protocol, we have a full communication specification of WebSockets, which usually you would have to implement on your own if you have another WebSocket application where you can throw raw messages in and out. And with Meteor, you have this specification already done. The whole data layer is already done for you. You don't have to care about that. The same as when you call methods or when you subscribe to a publication. This data layer is handled for you. You only need to care about the call logic. And the other one is that Min, who is also very often here and also year-long community member, also threw in UI. And I'm not sure if they mentioned the same as I do, but in the end, Meteor is very strong in supporting many different UIs. You can use React, you can use Vue, you can use Solid, you can use Svelte, or you can use Blaze, and that's really awesome. So you can, depending on the job, use the best tools that are there for you.
Yes, and especially in the future as we get a bit more integrated as well. I intentionally also kind of left out all the things that will be fixed with Meteor 3, and I'm already talking here as we are kind of past it. So
yeah, if I can jump onto Küster's comments, I think one of the things that I think is great about Meteor and as a strength is the fact that you do have this opinionated stack that you can get started with, work on your ideas, get your applications out, not have to think too much about what it is that I'm going to add in. But if you are more sophisticated, or if you do have the sense that I want to change certain things, I'd like to change the data layer, use something a little different. I've got access to GraphQL through Apollo to do so. And there are some existing packages for MySQL, Postgres that are out there that you could take advantage of. Or if you want to change the UI layer, as we were talking about before, you can get started with Blaze. Handlebars is really easy to get used to. It's not that hard to use or reason about. But if you want to do something that's a lot more involved, mature, I don't know how, more component based, then you could use things like, all these wonderful front end frameworks that are out there. So to me, the fact that it serves both needs, I think, and maybe not 100%, but you know what? I think if I can get 97% of the way and I get my time back, and my time is really important to me, then that's what matters, and that's what's key here. So, all right, that was my 2 cents.
Yes. All right. And as I said, it's not, all rosy, all hard. There are also weaknesses, like with everything. Don't let anyone tell you that there aren't. You could possibly power through them, but really should you in my case. But let's get to it. Performance can be an issue if you are not careful. I think this applies to any technology. The same thing with Node.js. So you have to be careful, especially as you start growing, that performance might be an issue. And I just kind of, with that, because I had it earlier, I'll add it later, is potentially weakness is that we also tightly coupled with MongoDB, which can also be a strength depending on your preference. But given that we can change UI as you want, I think given how Meteor works, being able to change database as you want would not work. But if you want to, there is a package to change things to MySQL and other SQL alternatives. But for some, that could be seen as potential weakness.
Hang on a second. mean, when you say, you can't change it as you want, I don't think that's true. You can change it, but the thing is you lose some things,
Yeah.
right, by changing it. So I think that's the more accurate statement to make, I think.
Correct.
Okay.
For some people, some of the parts might be a bit aged. So if you are all about, the sleek, new, hot thing, then Meteor in some respects might seem aged. The thing for me is that either we haven't gotten around to upgrading it yet, or it works and it does what it's supposed to do. So why change it just because there is just a few new sexy functions that came along. Another bit of an issue that has been kind of cropping up and again is the build system. Meteor uses its own build system, and today everybody is pretty much jumping on wheat. And Meteor will probably as well. And you actually can, with a little bit of work, have wheat in Meteor as well. So that's hopefully, possibly not a weakness in maybe a few more releases, where it will become maybe the standard. Some people might say that you might get into a vendor or framer lock-in, specifically when it comes to Meteor specific packages. I think enough said there. And you also get all the detriments of Node.js as well, because at the end of the day, Meteor is a Node.js application. Since I'm so much into Meteor, is there anything else that I've missed, guys, or that I've forgotten about?
Yep. There's one thing that I'd like to address. I just forgot it because I just wrote in the chat. Oh, so I'm now joining the club of
distraction.
So what was it? Give me a
think
second.
about it, and we have your comment from the Parpoil. Hi everyone, I would add to the weaknesses atmosphere itself, specifically the multiplication of packages and the lack of deprecation notices. I would say the atmosphere itself. We also have Packosphere. In that regard, I agree with the multiplication of packages, especially in the early days. There has been a lot of multiplication, but kind of from npm to atmosphere and so on. The
But I would say,
deprecation
by the way, this multiplication of packages, I'm assuming that he means either that people are either repeating the same functionality or they're using the same namespaces or something similar. I will say, by the way, that you have the same issue in npm, right? A lot of people are building the same things, and it's a question of what are you going to use? So I don't see that your search space is solved one way or the other there at all. With regard to the multiplicity of things that might appear in atmosphere, it might be because somebody started a project and then abandoned it, and then somebody decided to fork it and do something else with it. I think that is something that's a little confusing, and I'm not sure exactly how you clean that up, but I think that's a problem everywhere.
The thing is, now I'm having my thoughts back. So there are multiple weak points on atmosphere, which is also what vParpoil also just commented. By the way, welcome. I think I haven't seen you as well. And there's one thing that I really criticize, and this is related to our very first item from today, and that is on npm. You already have 2FA enabled for publishing, so you can enable, say, okay, packages can't be published if 2FA is not enabled, but I can still, even when I have Meteor two-factor authentication enabled for my account, if I'm logged in with my account, I can publish npm packages without 2FA. Just one example. So, and 2FA was in the past, missing 2FA was in the past one thing that caused a dependency supply chain attack by the UA parser packages. I know that because I was affected by that as well, but not on production. That was on development settings. And the other weakness, and that's what I wanted to go back first, and this is also something that Meteor Software, the people at Meteor Software should be aware about, but we all as well, is there is still a lack of architectural documentation. There is no one, trust me, there is no one besides a few people out there who has the whole big picture of all the software in somewhere drawn. I think nobody has drawn this out somewhere in a model, but I think there are just a very few people having this in their brain. And you know the bus factor, when these people get hit by the bus, then everybody starts from scratch again. They have to start from the beginning because that's how it is. It's a big framework. There are lots of places there, lots of packages, lots of things, and this requires constant documentation. And I think there was never that big of architectural documentation, even from the original maintainer group from MGG. So this is, in my opinion, still a weak spot because it's an open source project, right?
Yeah. Well, as long as it's a truck instead of a bus, then we just need to find them in another world. So I just want to kind of get also back to the atmosphere, to the lack of deprecation notices. This is, I would say, even worse in NPM, but I actually did the functionality for Atmosphere or the Meteor packages that you can release a new version that where you put in a flag deprecated true, which will deprecate the package, and it will show a notice on Atmosphere I do believe it is also in the console itself, but if not, then we'll have to add that later. So we do have that going in. Same package is being republished many times. I think that was in regards to the duplication. That's just sadly how things works. Actually, I like the system we have with Atmosphere Meteor packages much more than with NPM, how it originally was NPM. Now it's NPM also has namespaces, but for a very long time, NPM did not have a namespaces. That's why you have packages like React without any namespace there, and in Meteor, you always have the namespace unless it's an official package, or like official core package, which is an amazing, I would say, distinction that who is responsible for that package. So that can help a lot. Let's see, anything else that we have in the chat? Yes, from Ming in regards to SSR, server-side rendering, and building static site pages. Little bit now in Meteor 3 easier with Express and Express functionality. But yes, I'm adding that on my new version of this presentation, that SSR is not easy. Though, that said, there has been some mention by the Meteor software team that they will be working on that. Though right now it was in relations to React server-side rendering. Not sure how it's going to be in general.
But I just want to throw something in here, and that's always, you have to always ask yourself if you want a framework that can do everything. Do you want a platform or framework that can support and do everything? Because it's not gonna work out.
Yeah, well, if it does everything, it doesn't do anything well. And speaking of doing things well, let's see what is the good fit for Meteor. And this is a quick list for myself that I quickly came up with in a few minutes. Chat and other real-time application, I think, hands down, are absolutely perfect tip. I think social applications where you have a lot of this constant, feedback getting in, again, real time, perfect. Simple web games, tic-tac-toe and similar are also a great fit. Yes, Alan?
No, it hung on my side, the stream, so I wasn't quite sure
Okay.
if you were hanging on your end or okay.
Hopefully this works fine. I think in general, given what I've seen outside of Meteor ecosystem, application that need account system, especially if you need to keep the data on your side, which for me is why wouldn't you, especially for any European, company with GDPR and everything. So that's amazing. For that also, thanks to the amazing accounts package. I would say also like generally, web pages that are defined as app, which is a bit broad, but if you have a lot of interactions going on, then then it's going to be really great. And as we have mentioned multiple times, being able to quickly start and get coding on the main app. This also lends itself very much for proof of concept and looking for the product market fit, because there you need to do a lot of changes very quickly. So that's a great I would say good fit for Meteor. Anything else that you guys would like to add here? We have here from Charles, very good for track logistics system, talking from experience. I think this would be, we could probably put it like as in general tracking systems, because it's not the only, I would say, tracking system that I have heard of. So that definitely there. And kind of related to that is, I've seen it a lot or Meteor, at least from what I got a chance to see it outside of my own use cases. It's a lot in corporate sphere. So usually, employees only access applications and similar things.
Yeah, B2B applications and internal systems, I think, are a great resource for it. Another one is marketing apps. Admin tools are often, you can do things with that too. So I think that those are some of the other places where I would say that Meteor can shine.
Sweet. Gonna start with let's just one more round. Anybody else wants to add to this? No. Then let's move to the final slide. What is Meteor not a good fit? It was mentioned here with the server-side rendering, static web pages. If you want to do static web pages, there are much better tools for that are specifically only focused on that. And if worse comes to worse, or if it's like a very simple website, you can always go back to the classic HTML and CSS with maybe some sprinkled JavaScript in one file.
Can I share a trick that I've done in the past? So the thing is, like, if you're building a site where you want to just use static pages, if you just use the bare package, the bare implementation of Meteor, have your main route, a JS file as main or index or whatever, and then put all your static pages over in a tree under public. It serves up pretty fast. Just a trick.
Awesome. That's a very interesting trick. Another thing I would say would be like mobile and desktop specific apps, and that would be when you actually need to be native. So I think like that will then go like to anything where you need to be native, where you need to have direct access to all the native APIs and really are about performance. Then using Cordova or Meteor Desktop or Meteor in general for this is not it's not going to be nice. It might be good maybe to connect it. That's where React Native, and Jan can talk more about that, comes in. Another place which I have, I think maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but we did have at least one VR example with Meteor, but for the application like itself for VR, that's like a very specific use case that at least at this point we don't have enough knowledge in Meteor itself to. So I would not consider that a good fit. And finally, I would say computation heavy websites. So if you're doing a lot of computation, all that stuff, then you probably wouldn't even consider or shouldn't consider JavaScript. You should consider something like Rust, Go, and languages that are specifically made towards that goal. And I just had one more here, would be non-real-time websites. So if you don't have to have real time or a lot of real time, then you might want to maybe potentially consider yourself, because if you are choosing Meteor, you really want to go and play into the strengths as much as possible and utilize it as much as possible.
Okay, Min has popped in and said he has a React Native app that works well with Meteor server, so it's still half a good fit. So.
Yes. In this case, that's the use case where I mentioned that it works, and then you are just connecting to Meteor server. But if you were to just do it with Meteor itself without React Native or some other application, say on the client or on the device, where you need to have that more of a, say, tighter integration, then Meteor really would not be a good fit. And through corridor wide, it might be more pain than you gain.
So let me ask you something. I mean, when you're talking about these things, and by the way, hey, Laurie, haven't seen Laurie in a while. Got to bring him back on the program at some point. It's a lot of fun to chat with. Says VR needs a 3D editor like Godot or Blender. So let me just, ask you something here in terms of your opinion on what's not a good fit, because I think what I'm hearing when you're talking about this is when you use the monolith architectural style, where Meteor is the entire stack, right? The entire architectural stack. Is that like how you're looking at it?
Yes, that's where I would come. That's the good fit. Not a good fit is if you have a lot of, or like in general, if it doesn't play into Meteor strength, then I would be asking harder questions about, is Meteor really what you need? Or is it going to be more of a issue for you down the road because you actually don't need Meteor, but maybe something else that is more geared towards your use case.
Sure.
And another one, as I said, if you need the tight coupling with a website, another potential could be said that when you don't use the the monolith architecture, where you have microservices, but Jan has shown that it's possible to do microservices with Meteor pretty good as well. So, although the question sometimes arises, depending on how you do it, if that might actually not be a problem instead of a benefit. But I think Jan can speak more on that.
Yeah. So I'm thinking like, if I'm designing a system architecture and I've got a lot of different things going on, Meteor might fit well within a portion of it, even as a monolith, because what I might do is I might pre-compute things, send data over, and then use Meteor's real-time reactive features to display real-time information to my end users. So, what I'm doing in my environment at that point is I'm handling a lot of different things that different parts of the system are well suited to deal with, and then giving only those elements to Meteor that Meteor is suited to do. And reducing the amount of time and effort that it might take to just build out that portion that Meteor would take care of for me. So I think that there's some ways to judiciously use Meteor in larger applications and larger systems, and rely on the monolith architecture if I want, or go the Küster way and say, all right, well, I can actually even go further with this and use Meteor as a broker, and by using a microservice architecture, and then just figuring out how to create different endpoints for it that have absolutely nothing to do with Meteor whatsoever. And Küster, jump in on that and see if I'm saying anything wrong here.
Sorry, I'm again out. Oh my god! I was doing a meme template, and I wanted to let you guys show it in a second.
You're working on memes? What the hell's wrong with you? You're on the show right now.
No, it was a meme for the show later on, but okay, just ask me the question.
As a fellow Pakistani, I fully approve.
So I was saying that Meteor can have a role in a larger system architecture. I think I've mentioned before that Meteor is a stack. It is not an architecture. And if you build out your system may be doing a lot of different things. You might be processing video and optimizing different video streams and so on. But then you might be passing on data from that you clean, you aggregate, you compute, and then send that rendered data over to Meteor for real-time updates so that you can follow along and maybe monitor the entire process with a Meteor application, or and maintain the monolith stack for Meteor, and Meteor does well what it does and just saves you time. Or you could do what Küster has done, which is use Meteor to build microservices with the server, and then basically it acts as a proxy to some other front-end processes that have absolutely nothing to do with Meteor. They could, but they may not. And you could still reap the benefit of, using whatever Meteor gives you. And it might be the account system, might be a whole bunch of other things to your benefit, and reduce your work time and reduce your workload, and use it that way. So, and I was asking in terms of when I said that about the microservices part and how it could be used in sort of that decoupled fashion. Is this consistent with your experience, Küster?
Yes, it's consistent with my experience, and I also want to add on top that it's also part of the more complex setups and situations you face, may it be in the enterprise level or in your company level or your own projects or whatever. You will be at that point where you will come to that interchanging of systems, or this interchange of data between systems, and sometimes you don't want the full package. You want just a part of the package, and that's where this kind of microservices come into play. And I mean, this is it's an architectural style on your own, and as you said, Meteor is a platform and a stack and not an architecture on itself. And that's the great thing, because the architecture is what you are doing.
Yeah,
you as a developer doing the architecture with the tools, with the platforms. And that's while I like to emphasize here, Meteor is providing infrastructure. I will always come up again with that. Meteor is providing for you development infrastructure, not in terms of networks and all that stuff, but in terms of the software tool and the platform.
Yeah, I would kind of say, add to that, another thing is, once you have like a Meteor or stuff, if you then do say a microservice or something else, it might still be good to use Meteor, because then you don't have to learn something new, which saves you time, and time is money, and you can just go straight to building the, say, microservice or another application.
Yeah.
Of course, if it fits, if you don't need something hyper specific. And with that, all the benefits, with all the stack talk, let's go. Handing it off back to you, Alim, to take us to the end.
I'm going to kick back in for 1 second and just mention, by the way, that when we talk about like internals, again, one of the benefits I would say that Meteor is good for is in terms of cost control, because when you are doing internal apps, most of them are a cost center. They're not a profit center for you. They're just eating up cost. So the more that you can reduce your internal cost of development, the better it is for the bottom line, right? So I think that is one place where I would go. And having said that, and hopefully bought some time for myself, I'm going to mention here that we've got a couple of reminders. That first of all, sponsorships. So our program here was sponsored, or this segment of the program, Understanding Meteor, was sponsored by Galaxy. There's $60 in credits. You should go to the site if you can. If you haven't used it before, go to this landing page with the link that we give in the stream down below at the very bottom of the screen here, and just go to the page. And at the very bottom there, you can see where we've highlighted the coupon code that you put in. Dispatch is 60. You put that in, fill out your information, and you will get your $60 worth of credits, which roughly equates to about 2 months of runtime of a app on the standard tier. Is that correct? I think it is correct. Yes,
that's correct.
So, all right, guys. So give it a shot and see how it is. And by the way, speaking of sponsorships, I'm going to, by the way, turn this off now because the banner is a little annoying after a while. We have to do that because that's our obligation. But one of the things I want to mention is that open source, as you know by now, and many of you have heard me say this before, open source is a great tool for all of us. Many of us use it. Much of the open source is free to use, and the ones that we use are free to use. But free software doesn't necessarily mean that it's sat down and we've got these millionaire developers that are cranking out code. It's everyday people like you and me that sit down and do it. And there are better people than me because I don't really contribute too much to open source. What we have is we have our two Jans here who are open source developers, and they work on Meteor on the core and also on the community packages. I will say that if you can show them some support by going to their GitHub sponsor pages and clicking a like, increasing the amount of stars that they have, let people know that they're appreciated for the work that they do, that helps them stay motivated. The other thing that helps them stay motivated is caffeine. And if you have the ability to make a contribution to either of these Jans, do so. But by no means is the statement only about the folks here on the channel. If there is any project that you use where you find that you're benefiting from the work of other developers, please go out, show them some appreciation, give them some likes, some stars, whatever it might be that lets them know that the work that they do benefits you and you appreciate it. And again, if you find a preferred developer or sets of developers or projects that you'd like to contribute to, and they have a means for you to contribute, please do so. That helps keep the ecosystem healthy and growing, and it makes people not walk away from their projects and leave huge security holes, which we've talked about in the past. And with that, I'm going to go on to the next segment here, which I think Küster has something to say.
Yeah. So I already told you to subscribe if you don't want to miss any of our streams. But what happened if you miss any of our streams? Then there is the podcast list of all our recent podcasts. And I mean, we're streaming daily. We're already on 41. So we're close to a year streak.
Weekly, not daily, weekly. Don't.
Oh my God, that would be crazy.
Too much pressure.
Oh, too much pressure. No, we're streaming weekly, and it's like 41 weeks of streaming now. So we're close to a year streak. And if you missed anything, we have named the topics and also numbered them. You can just scroll through the list and check them out. And you can also leave comments there. We are always monitoring also the older things. You can leave a like there. You can interact with us on the streams or let us know if there are parts of these older streams that you'd like to be put up again and being talked again. Maybe there were changes, things are new. So check out the list. The link should be also in the description, I think. And if not, let us know, then we will put it in the description or send it to you otherwise.
And Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I also have a question to you guys. Do you want to see more memes in the future? That's a serious question.
You know what? We're going to put a poll on the community page
Oh yeah.
of YouTube, and so we'll put a poll on that. That's a fun poll, and you guys can like let us know what your thoughts are with that. With regard to now, I missed something that I was going to say here with regard to the older episodes and so on. Look, we're having a lot of fun with this. We want you to comment. We want you to share your thoughts with us. Don't be shy about it. If there are things that we say, by the way, that are inaccurate, call us out on it. Let us know, because we don't want to share misinformation. And when we're talking like we are right now, sometimes stuff comes out of our mouths and it's not correct. But we move on, and we don't have time to process because we're moving through. So we do make mistakes from time to time. We would like a correction if possible. We would like you to help us make that correction, because that helps build our community and it helps us get to know each other better. If you do it in a nice way, in a way that's not disagreeable, that's better, right? If it's confrontational, well, it might be taken a certain way. But regardless, if it's factual, we want to know about it, and we want to get better every time we do this. So, improved accuracy in the information we give you. Maybe some suggestions on style and things. We've gotten some feedback about wanting to get just the links, and so we put together a newsletter that we're sending out these days. So, we want to keep up with things like this. By the way, if you haven't signed up for the newsletter yet, go ahead and do so. Gosh, let me now I've got to put another banner up, right? So it is, do you guys remember where it is? It's Substack. No, it's MeteorJS community.substack.com, right? So let me get a banner up there. Okay.
Let me send the link there.
Okay. And let's just pop that up. So that's where we're talking about. And let me make sure that actually goes to the right place, because that would be that would not be cool if that didn't work, right?
Yeah, I put the link in the comments.
Oh, it's not
everybody has
found.
that there.
Yeah, just right below the next blow. Oh my god.
Hang on, I gotta fix
go.
it. I gotta fix it.
Yeah, there it is.
Where'd you find it?
I put the link for you in the chat.
Okay, let me fix that right now. Woo.
So everybody can. Oops.
Oh, that's not community. It's dispatches. See, I don't even know what I create anymore.
You're too creative.
No, I'm just all over the place. All right, guys, this is where it is. This is where it is. So go there, sign up. You get the newsletter, and on top of the newsletter, you get all the past newsletters that have been published. So all the links that we published in the past are there on a page. You can scroll through, and you can get access to it. We do not make it public, so you have to put in your email address. Sorry about that. It's just that I'm embarrassed. Whatever it is, actually, it's our way of making sure that we maintain access to our community. And if that's not for you, then that's cool. But that's how you get your list of I'm glitching links.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing a Biden right now. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be political, but
it's getting hilarious.
It's true. I like the guy, but he has senior moments. I have senior moments, right? And it's like, okay.
And with that, I think it's time to close it up.
Absolutely. All right. So, guys, listen, it's been great being with you. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.